What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee, and today we have an amazing special conversation with an amazing special young woman, Nicole
you.
Mikhael. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. The honor is mine.
Now, you are an entrepreneur, but I feel like your entrepreneurial spirit, a lot of that came from things that you've been through in your life. And in particular, first we want to talk about breast cancer because you were actually diagnosed with breast cancer at a really young age.
Yeah. I was diagnosed at 26, and I went against the textbook. No doctor would ever tell me, like, hey, you're 26 now, do your self-breast exam. It was me just putting
lotion on.
Too much lotion, and I was like, where else can I rub myself? So I rubbed my breast.
That's fine.
My titties.
Yeah.
Go
ahead. You can say titties.
Okay, I rubbed my titties, and I think that, like, if my hands weren't lubricated from the lotion, I don't think that I would have been able to feel the tumor underneath. And initially I ran down to my mom and I was like, I feel something. But when you're 26, it's like, it's probably just close to your period. This happens. Your breast will form these little lumps, but it's nothing to be worried about. And because I know in my family history of my mom having breast cancer, I was always like aware of my body, especially my breast. And so I just trusted my gut, and I was like, let me just get this checked out just in case. And like with my luck, it ended up being breast cancer. But until I got my diagnosis, when I originally went in for the ultrasound, which is no different than when you do like a ultrasound when you're pregnant, the doctors told me, the shape of it is not suspicious, the size of it is really small, like it's nothing to be concerned about. Cancer isn't an option for you because you're young.
Even though they knew about your family history. Okay.
And so I did the lumpectomy, which is just when they remove the mass. And I'm not sure if you know, but whether you remove a mass or a mole from your body, you have to send it to pathology. That's just like the law.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they have to send it out. And even when the breast oncologist removed the mass, she still gave me the green light. Like,
wow.
You're good. The shape of it isn't suspicious. I'm not worried. Cancer isn't an option for you. I was like, okay.
Just because of your age?
Because of my age. And I was cool with it. I was like, all right, perfect. Because my logic then was, while this is still small and it's close enough to the skin surface, I'd rather remove it now so it doesn't continue to grow and then leave like a larger indentation.
Right. Because in your head, this wasn't anything serious.
No.
Right.
It was just like a pimple.
Because they were making it seem like it wasn't anything serious too, so you felt pretty comfortable with that.
Yeah, no one was worried. There was no stress.
Was your mother worried when knowing that she had gone through it? Okay.
Because I was too young. And then a week later, I went in for my follow-up appointment, which was just to make sure that the incision was healing, and it was. Everything was fine. But that day, I knew when the doctor came in that, like, if she had blinked a couple more times, the tears would start coming out of her eyes because her eyes were filled with water, because she had to go back on her word and say, hey, actually, pathology came back as stage 1 breast cancer. And in that moment, I would have thought I'd be, like, dramatic and crying and over the top, but I kind of was numb to it, and I was like, okay, like, what's the plan? Like, what do I do next? Like, what do I do? And so 2 weeks later, I went in for a double mastectomy, and I didn't have any time to think about it.
Okay, I was going to ask you, did they recommend that, or was that something that you said, I'm going to get a double mastectomy just to err always on the side of caution?
I had to do it
because
I had breast cancer.
Okay.
And then, like, at 26, all my girlfriends and my friends are, getting married and getting engaged and on their second kid. And I'm over here trying to figure out, okay, what type of
Wait,
implant.
you said at 26 your friends were getting married and on their second kid?
Yeah. Some of them were.
Not my friends.
We were,
okay.
our cards in our life were very, very different. I'm over here trying to figure out, like, do I use silicone or saline, and what size implants do I get? So the cards that life handed me were very different than my peers. So it was hard for me to find support or have somebody relate to me, or me like even ask anybody questions of like, how did you feel when you had to decide, are you going to keep your nipple or are you going to remove your nipple? And then like that was a whole other conversation at 26 that I didn't even know a female could remove a nipple. I didn't know that was a thing, because a double mastectomy is essentially an amputation.
Right.
And usually when you see an amputee, it's like an arm, a leg, something that's like visible. So when I had to accept the fact that, wait, So the cancer is bad enough, but now I have to remove a nipple, and then there's like nipple reconstruction. I didn't know anything about this.
Right.
It was all new to me.
And truthfully, people like there was somebody who had an inverted nipple who I knew, and that was something that really like bothered her so much that she just. So I can't even imagine like saying, okay, do you want to remove your nipple? As much as people might think, oh, it's no big deal, this, and that. It is a big deal.
Yeah,
yeah,
and especially like looking at you saw the photo that I showed you before we started recording, but like when I first saw myself like that, that's when I had my breakdown. Like I never knew a body, let alone my own, to look like this, and my breasts were such a big part of my look for so many years that to have to take that away at such a young age was hard to accept, but I knew that it was the best decision for me to make because I wanted to be healthy and alive, obviously. And if I hadn't trusted my gut and gone to the doctors and followed through with the double mastectomy, then I don't know what stage I would have been if I got tested at the appropriate age that they would say.
Right. Nicole, I do want to commend you for really advocating for yourself and being proactive.
Oh, thank
because
you.
most people in their 20s, let alone even my age, they're not being really proactive about going to the doctor. Oh, I felt a lump. Well, even though everyone keeps telling me it's nothing, let me go get it checked out. Okay, well, I want to send this, to like all of those things with so many people reassuring you, thinking about your age. You were definitely proactive in making sure that you took the steps that you needed to take just to err on the side of caution.
Right. I was like advocating for myself at one point. And even if I had like called a breast center and said, hey, I found a lump, I want to do a mammogram, they're not going to give me that appointment because your breasts are too dense at 26. So like that's another misconception.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, people think that a breast MRI is like, not a breast MRI. A breast MRI is great, but that a mammogram is the only way to do a test. But there's breast ultrasound, like I talked about, that's super painless. It's no different than when you're pregnant. The same jelly, same machine, like easy breezy. And then a breast MRI with contrast is like the most effective. But with mammograms, especially for younger women, it's not effective because your breasts are too dense, and so it won't pick up on it sometimes.
Nicole, were you in a relationship during this time?
So when I was going through this, I wasn't in a relationship, and I was cool with it. When I was going through this and saw my body changing, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be single forever. Like, this is it. I don't want to have that conversation with any man to be like, I have scars, or I don't have a nipple and I have nipple reconstruction and a tattoo. So I was cool with being single. My business was booming. I was happy. I was healthy. I wasn't looking or anything. And then after I had my last surgery, May 2019.
How many surgeries did you have?
I had 7 in 1 year.
7 surgeries in 1 year.
Yeah, because after my double mastectomy, when you sign off at the doctors and like the fine print, you're like, it's not going to happen to me. An infection is like, I'm invincible. It's already bad enough. Like, how much worse can it get? But when you're having such a major surgery, I definitely got an infection, and that was a huge setback in my recovery. But back to your original question. So I did end up meeting somebody unexpectedly, and I used to talk to his mom for like a year and a half and tell her like, I'm never dating anybody. Like, I'm never going to have...
This was somebody you knew his mom, but...
not the son.
Not him. Okay, I love this.
I didn't know the son. I knew she had a son. And then, like, the biggest plot twist is that, like, we're next door neighbors.
Oh, my gosh.
And so then, like, when I did meet him, I never had to have that conversation of, like, hey, I had cancer and, whatever, because he had heard about the girl next door who just beat cancer. But I think he had, like, a vision of what I would look like, because usually when people think of cancer, they think of somebody bald and like no lashes or brows or hair or anything. So like, and I didn't look sick, and I think that's like the biggest, that's why I want to have this conversation, to kind of reconstruct the stereotype of breast cancer, because I feel like it's considered an older woman's disease, and people think you're supposed to look a certain way, but cancer doesn't discriminate. No one's invincible. It can happen to anyone. And so I did end up dating her son, and he, thank God, because he definitely served his purpose in my life post cancer. And he definitely healed me in a way that like nobody else could.
That's amazing.
And then there was like a couple situations where I would be sus, where like I wouldn't take off my top, and if I did, you know, like lights had to be off, or I would have my hair in front of my chest, and it got to a point where like I would lock the door taking a shower, like changing my clothes, and it got to a point he's like, why do you keep locking the door? And that's when I had to like be honest with myself and like be honest with him and tell him like, this has nothing to do with you. It's my own insecurity because I'm having a hard time looking at myself in the mirror, and I shower with the lights off. I just keep my iPhone flipped upside down with the light on, and as long as I have a little bit of light, then like I can shower. And so when I told him, he like couldn't have handled it any better. He didn't care. He wasn't fazed by my scars, and he's like, I love them. And he really, that point in my recovery, like where I didn't finish reconstruction on the nipple, he could have easily been like, this is a little too much for me to look at, like, you know, maybe keep the lights off for a little bit or anything. But he
loved it.
He loved it, and thank God, or else I would be in therapy for a whole other reason.
I bet a whole lot of guys watching this right now would love it too.
Yeah. Yeah, they look good now. I definitely agree that, or I believe that man-made is better than what was God-given. And like that's another thing too that I deal with like, you know, why did you get such big implants? And I'm like, if you saw how big my natural boobs were, this is what makes me feel like myself again. And also the fact that you're even commenting on my body makes you a weirdo, like off tops, like, because who are you to like ask me these questions? And that's why I put in like a lot of effort with the details, like I showed you before, like with the nails and the number 8 and the ribbon and making
even this
shirt.
Amazing shirt that you made.
I didn't make it.
Oh, okay.
Someone made it, but I designed
it
with someone.
Okay. Those are actually ties.
They're ties. Yeah. One of my girlfriends, Bo, she came through and I showed her a picture and she did what she had to do, and it worked out great, because I feel like if we're gonna have this conversation about breast cancer and reconstruction, like as a listener, like I want to see what your titties look like now, because like
people well, what is the difference now? We talked about this before we started the conversation on air, the difference between reconstruction and cosmetic. And
so when you have an augmentation, they're opening you up and popping in an implant. Done. With reconstruction, you are essentially getting amputated from the inside out. So I don't have any breast tissue. It's just skin and implant. So when you just have skin and implant, there's other things that pop up where you'll have like indentation because there's no more breast tissue. So then I had to do, this is going to sound lipo because I'm not overweight, but like I had to do lipo, not because I'm like, oh, let me lose some weight. It's because I needed that
the fat
to
put
fill
there.
in the empty pockets. And then like even with the nipple, when they gave me my first nipple, that nipple was gangster. It was like in a tear shape. That nipple was not correct at all. And so I had to,
I can see you starting a gangster nipple.
Maybe, you know, somebody out there has to have like a nipple fetish or scars or whatever. But yeah, it took a lot of surgery. And, you know, every time I talk to people who are going through this, because I shared my story on social media. And when I tell you that content that I thought would never leave my camera roll is on the internet for everyone to see.
Does that feel empowering for you now?
It does now, but like it's also scary to be so vulnerable, because like when I tell you like drains hanging out of me, like one implant up here, one implant down, this was just like from my own archive.
You didn't think you would ever share that.
No. And I remember my Instagram got hacked in May. And I uploaded a video on TikTok. I was like, let me try TikTok. That's where like the cool kids are on, because I don't really know too much about TikTok. And I posted a video that was 8 years old. All my content of my cancer is 8 years old. I posted something that took like 20 seconds. It was Nurses Week. I didn't even think about the post. It was like, whatever, let's just see what happens. In 2 days, it hit 5 million views. And that's when it hit me. I was like, oh, there's a community of women that don't have a voice and now found me, and they can relate to my fears of, what's dating like after cancer, or how do I tell a partner, or what am I going to look like? Am I going to be able to dress? I dress the same exact way. I don't care. I'm not trying to like be all covered up. And
yeah, you turned a lot of heads in the hallway.
Did I? Oh my God. Okay, it worked. It worked. Listen, that was the plan.
This guy right here came running in the room like, okay, she's here. And
not her putting you on blast.
He did. Yeah, I'm just being honest.
I appreciate that. I mean, in a positive way. I appreciate it so much because I put in so much effort, and maybe a little bit too much effort, into every single
She appreciates it respectfully, with the respectful way.
Yeah. No, but at least someone noticed, It's not just for me because,
What about sensation?
Okay, so sensation I didn't have for a really long time. And the doctors told me, like, your nipples aren't going to get hard at all. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, I'm okay with that. It's not that bad. But now my nipples get hard, and the fake one included. And so, like, whenever my nipple gets hard, I'm not trying to cover myself. I'm like, you guys, look, my nerves are waking up. Like,
that's great, though.
Yeah, so.
And another thing that we discussed was also how some people, and like you said, a lot of times it's older women. That's the vision that we have when we think about women who are are diagnosed with breast cancer. A lot of times it is older. So you've been to support groups.
No.
No support groups.
No,
okay.
Because I couldn't relate to the women in the support groups.
Okay.
Because, like, the concerns that I had, they didn't care about. Like, I'm married. I have grandkids and kids. I'm like, oh, I'm not even there yet. My phone is dry. I don't even text anybody. Like, so I didn't go to any support groups just because I didn't feel like it was helpful for me.
Do you feel like people judge you?
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Whenever people hear that, like, I was the girl who had cancer, they're kind of thrown off.
I feel like when I look at you, I find it very empowering that you're sharing your story, that you went through what you went through, but also that you, like I said, were proactive in seeing what was wrong and trying to make sure that even when everybody was telling you nothing was wrong, you did your reconstruction. You have no problem talking about it. It took you a while to be able to post about it, but you speak so freely on it that it just takes away, I think, a lot of the stigma, but also something that can reach all kinds of audiences of people who are like, well, let me go ahead. Like, I feel, because some people might feel a lump and just not do anything.
Yeah, and like if you're making your doctor's appointment, don't just make it. Actually show up to your appointment. Because I know a lot of people be like, I made it, and then I'm like, how'd it go? Like, I canceled. I'm like, well, that doesn't do anything because God forbid you do have something, early detection with any cancer. Your diagnosis will be better. Your treatment plan might not be aggressive. Like, I dodged chemo and radiation because I found my cancer so early.
Is there a chance that it could return?
Okay, so this is a technical question, and I'm not a medical professional.
Okay, no,
but
I don't know what they've told you.
There's like a 0.01% chance that it could return, but I did it with the intention that, like, I'll be okay.
Okay, prayers.
Yeah, prayers, but I don't think so. I hope not. I get tested once a year, so far I've been
very proactive.
Yeah, I have to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And like, even, usually when you have breast cancer, they put you on tamoxifen or Remedix, which is like a medication that they give you just to kill other cancer cells that could be anywhere else in your body. And that medication is really strong. Like, it would have put me into menopause at 26. But because I caught it so early, I like worked out a deal with my oncologist. I'm like, what if you don't put me on this? Like, I don't want to be on this medication. And he didn't, and I've been okay, thank God. So yeah, trusting your gut, staying on top of the appointments, and just being proactive makes a huge difference. And I know that, like, this conversation is heavy. Like, no one wants to talk about cancer, and it doesn't matter what language you speak. Anyone hears the word cancer and they get scared.
But no matter what, we all know somebody. Like, there is nobody, I think, in this, like, world that doesn't know somebody that has
affected.
been
Yeah.
I mean, family members, for me even.
Really?
Yeah. So I can't, and every day I feel like as I'm reading the news, somebody else is coming forward, like, or sometimes people live with it in silence and don't tell anyone, and then we're like, what happened? And then you later find out.
Yeah. I know, and then, like, the more I've shared on social media, I've gotten so many messages from girls like, I'm 18, I'm 21, I'm 23, and I'm pregnant, trying to figure out when I'm going to do chemo. And I'm like, wow, I feel old saying I was 26, and that's really sad because women are being diagnosed younger. There's no platform, there's no support group talking about younger women getting diagnosed, and now it's like, I did Big Boy's interview last week, and he asked me, he's like, do you ever question, like, why me? I was like, no, I can't question why me, because if this is the cards that life was going to hand me, then it is what it is. But how did this happen so young? And now that there's more people reaching out to me, I'm like, is it the food? Is it environment? Like birth control, deodorant? Like there's so many different factors that play into it that I don't really know why women are getting diagnosed younger, but they definitely are. And I'm so glad that I shared my story, because I thought I was the only one. And it turns out that like I'm really not. There's so many other women around the world that are affected by this disease.
And who you're helping as well, that are like, okay, because they probably all thought they were the only one at a young age.
Yeah.
Now tell me about the Mikhael battle.
So the Mikhael battle, the bottle.
Yeah, the
they
bottle.
said the battle. I was like,
the
we're
bottle.
getting into family drama?
Oh,
No.
I didn't know there was family drama.
No.
Okay.
I think right before we started this, you had asked like if insurance had covered my surgery. But when I was recovering from surgery, and I realized the older I get, the more I turn into my mom. It's just kind of what it is.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And so while I was recovering, I started making these little like succulent arrangements that I was planting inside of crystals. And it was a complete hobby. It was just like a thank you gift for anyone that would come to the house, just to say like, here, I made this for you. And it was also keeping me sane, because I couldn't do anything like raise my arms or, you know, just simple tasks like pumping down on a soap dispenser I couldn't do because it would hurt my chest. Like,
for how long?
A long time. I would say like a year, like raising my arms.
Wow.
I had to wear like zip up jackets or something really oversized where I wouldn't have to raise my arms, because
Things we would never think about.
Never think about. Like I didn't know how much you use your chest until you go do something and you're like, wait a second, that doesn't feel right, or that hurt. And so I started making these arrangements, and then this girl that I ended up becoming friends with, Jen, she posted my crystals, and I didn't even have a name for the company. I didn't know how to ship these. Like this was a complete hobby. This was just for like friends and family, and it ended up blowing up. And Khloe Kardashian had asked for crystals, and so I dropped off like 14 crystals for all of them, from Chris to all her kids to her grandkids. Like everybody had a set of crystals, and I was so grateful that they were even interested, because I was like, okay, must be, you know, this might be cool. I've gone used to looking at these, but they like them. So I dropped them off to Chloe's, and they didn't think anything of it. I was like, well, I'm not expecting her to post because I can't afford her. Like, there's no way.
Right, you can't afford to pay that.
No, but the fact that they even wanted my crystals was good enough for me. I wasn't tripping on a post. And then 2 weeks later, like the night before my surgery was Tuesday morning, the night before my surgery, she randomly posted me. And it was like a monochromatic tag, like really small in the corner, but her fans are so loyal that they found me. And in that 24 hours that I was up on her page, she completely sold me out and answered all my prayers. She really blessed me, because like reconstructive surgeries are a lot more expensive than augmentation. Because like I said, augmentation, you're just popping an implant, but with reconstruction, you're actually reconstructing.
And insurance does not cover that?
It did not cover it.
That's wild to me.
I know. It's considered elective and cosmetic. So they covered the double mastectomy.
Wow.
But then when Khloe posted me and sold me out, I was like, God bless her for life, because she covered my surgery, the surgery before, and the surgery before. So
dang. And then after that, you're like, well, this is a real business.
Yeah,
now.
I was like, this is a business. You know, I have to switch things up a little bit. And then I had that company until 2020, because once I sold out, I couldn't import crystals from Brazil anymore. And so
that's a lot of crystals. You probably,
And then like it sucked, because once they were out, like, the pandemic. And then, okay, the docks are open now, but it's going to take like longer to get it from Long Beach to my office, because everything's backed up. So I had to shut down that business. And then this last year, I was inspired by the pet therapy I did from when I had breast cancer. That was my favorite part of being in the hospital, is when they had all the animals come in.
All right, so tell me about pet therapy for people
I love pet therapy. So
Okay.
they'll have like, it depends. Some places are really fancy and will like spice it up a little bit with like a miniature horse. I didn't have that type of pet therapy.
dogs.
Yeah. They're bougie over there. Like UCLA does that. But the hospital that I was at, they just had dogs, which
That's
was
good enough.
Yeah, it was more than enough for me, because I am a huge animal lover, and not having my pets with me, this was like a great substitution. But yeah, they come to your room and They will put their head on you. You just get to kick it with the dogs. And so I've had every animal from horses, hamsters, dogs, cats, everything. So I know how healing animals can be. And I've also never had a disloyal pet. So I was like, you know what? Let me create something for...
Uh-oh, that felt like a jab at somebody.
Yeah, a lot of people, actually. It's not just one person in particular. But no, I'm just joking, maybe.
No, you're not. It's okay, girl. I got you.
Yeah, okay. It's okay. Someone gets it. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. But yeah.
If you think it's about you, it is.
Yeah,
okay.
Honestly, if the shoe fits, you know. But yeah, so then I created this crystal pet water bottle only because I take my animals everywhere with me, and not having water or snacks is always like annoying. Like I'm tired of going to like, I'm not even going to say the coffee shop, but a place to get a cup to have them drink out of it. And so I applied the crystals. A crystal you can put in the refrigerator and keep it like an ice cube during that warmer season. So it'll keep your water chill. And if you have like a puppy and you need like treats on you all the time because you're training, there's a snack jar that can pop right into the bowl. So all your essentials are in one bottle. Their
pets are like your child.
Yeah. I mean, people who have kids go out with like a diaper bag. This is no different. And especially when we had the fires in LA, I realized that I made this as a accessory, but then I really realized that like it is a necessity if you're a pet owner, and like the bottle is so universal. It's not just for traditional household pets. If you have like a bird and you put bird feed in the snack jar and you have your water, then like your bird or your flock of chicken or whatever you have, they're good. If you have a gerbil, put some gerbil food. I don't know what they eat, pellets in the snack jar.
And we're in New York. Gerbils are too close to rats.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they are. Yeah, I launched a pet product just because I was inspired by the pet therapy, because I just love animals so much.
I love what a go-getter you are.
Oh,
like when it comes to everything. Where did that come from for you?
I would say maybe my family. I come from a family of entrepreneurs, so I only know one way. And then like I'm Middle Eastern, so the fact that like I didn't follow the traditional become a lawyer or doctor or engineer or else you're a failure. I definitely am like the black sheep of the family.
Not at all.
Sure.
Right.
Everybody else is, doctors and lawyers. I'm just not that.
But you're like the family celebrity in a way. Kind of.
I don't know what they would say that about me, but maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. I just live in my own world and stay in my own lane. Yeah.
So what do you see for the future for yourself, Nicole?
Like professionally or personally?
Both.
Well, I hope to one day meet someone.
For people listening, what are you looking for?
Someone that's considerate, because I feel like there's a lot of inconsiderate people. Someone that's safe and will protect me emotionally. I don't need financial help. I can handle that on my own. But everything else, just be considerate, be nice, be kind, be
Don't you become a sugar mama either for anybody, please.
I did do that for a minute.
You did not.
I did. But
okay.
It's okay. Lesson learned.
Right.
You got to do it
that's
once.
how you learn your lessons.
Yeah,
okay.
It's okay. So it's okay. It worked out. It was okay.
I can't wait to read this book.
Which book?
Yours.
Oh, you think I'm going to write a book?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about it after.
I feel like you are.
Maybe.
Is it something you've thought about?
Yeah, but I think I'd want to do if I did a book, I want to include a lot of pictures, because I feel like, when people see me now and they're like, oh, okay, double mastectomy is just like having a boob job. I'm like, no. You don't know what I had to go through to get to this point. And I looked botched for a very, very long time. So I feel like, I don't know, sometimes I'm like, should I start an OnlyFans to show people what a medical tattoo looks like and scars and stuff? But
you would make a ton of money.
I don't think I can do it. My soul won't allow me.
Yeah, if your family was mad about
Oh my God, no.
Okay, but a book would be amazing, and I think that because I think your story is just incredible, and I know there's a lot more to it that we're not. I can't even there's so much I could tell already.
We can keep kikiing about a lot of other different topics if you want.
It's a lot more is it something that you're like, okay, because I know you talk about it a lot. And it is such a huge part of you. We can look at you and see that, right? But I know there's more when it comes to everything that you have going on. Even, even me hearing you just talk about the future and what it is that you're looking for, I could tell there's some things that have happened relationship-wise and family-wise. I could feel it.
Yeah, I think the last year was probably one of the most transformative years, even more than cancer. Like cancer had its own, and that's the thing too, is like whenever last year that was really hard, people would be like, but you're so strong, you went through cancer. I'm like, yeah, but that's completely different. When you go through cancer, everybody around you is positive and uplifting and supportive, and doctors will tell you, okay, we can give you this medication to take the pain away. By 6 months you'll be able to raise your arms. There's like dates when it comes to physical pain, but when you go through something that's like emotionally painful, like last year, my parents went through like a nasty divorce. We sold the house that I spent 23 years in, which meant now I'm leaving my ex and 2 houses on the block and 2 families, and just experiencing a lot of loss. My little Calabasas bubble got popped, and I got thrown into the real world, which is very different than what I grew up knowing to be normal. And I think that whether it's cancer or anything that you're going in life, I think that half the battle is always mental. And so I think that like people's mental health is really important.
Yeah.
And showing up for people and being, dependable and showing support, because like, Big doesn't even know this, but like a lot of times, and I have a lot of conversations with him too, and he's gone through a crazy roller coaster with me over the last year, and he takes the weight off of my shoulders when he's like, you know what, just pull up to the station tomorrow, and I know I'll have a good day when I go to the station.
That's
just
great.
Because like
he's amazing.
I love Big. I know that if I go to the station, I'm gonna laugh at least once. I know that like I'll be around good people, and like at least that day I'll be okay. But yeah, having to lose my breasts was a lot easier than losing my family, my relationship, my home, like everything that I've ever known to be normal to get taken away was a lot harder than what I went through with cancer. And I know people might like cancel me for saying that, but
no, listen, nobody can cancel you for what you went through and for your story of why you are where you are and who you are today.
Yeah.
Because honestly, if you ask me, like, it's very brave of you to even be able to have these conversations. You feel like people just kind of, when, like you said, your bubble got burst, you feel like people just weren't really there for you?
Yes and no. I mean, my sister is my soldier. She stood right by me. Like, I love my sister, and I would do anything for her. And my dad and my family obviously is so important to me. So to see divorce and like the ugliest side of people, like that wasn't easy. But again, I like leaned on my friends and I pulled through. But just to go off to say that, like, be kind to people. You don't know what somebody's going through. And like, when I would tell people like, oh, I'm struggling right now, and they're like, can't believe it, which is like a backwards compliment because they're so used to me living a certain way with my family and being raised a certain way, and I still always have my nails done. So like, it's hard for them to believe the words that I'm saying because their eyes don't allow them.
Because someone may look at you and judge you and thinking that like, oh yeah, she's got X, Y, and Z. She's got this. They won't even know all the things that you're currently going through, what you have gone through. And like you said, mentally.
Yeah. And it's like, I know when people look at me, I'm so misjudged. Like from the beginning, people just assume I'm another girl from LA with like tits on a stick, just walking around. But it's like, there's a story that your eyes won't even be able to tell you. So like, you can't judge anybody. There's a lot more that meets the eye. And so when people find out too that like, oh, you had cancer or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, what did you expect me to look like? And when I would go to City of Hope, unless I was bedridden, whenever I'd go to all my appointments, I would be in full glam. I did not care. I was like, I don't care.
I actually
if I'm
love
sick.
that for you.
Yeah, I would go there full hair, full makeup, and like, it's important, especially when I would see other women going through chemo treatment. Like, all they have is like lips to put lipstick on to make themselves feel good, because people do lose their brows, their lashes, and their hair. So I did it for myself, and every time I would go and I would be all dolled up, they would think that my mom or my dad were the patient. I'm like, nope, I got the wristband on.
It's actually
like,
me.
Why are you so dressed up? I was like, because if I can fake it and make myself think that I'm okay, and I can present myself to look a little bit decent than just constantly be looking sick and feeling sick, then like,
How's your relationship with your ex now?
I am cool with him.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no bad feelings at all.
That's good.
I will always love him. He played a huge part in my healing. And I mean, we were together 5.5 years. So, you know, I'll never not love him. And he definitely served his purpose. And yeah, we're
all right. I feel like I'm looking forward to reading this book.
Okay, I'll let you know when I start writing it.
And I'm gonna stay updated with you to see how things are going. But I appreciate you for coming and being so open and honest.
Me. Thank you for being the first woman I'm speaking to.
Yes, I can't believe that.
Yeah, I've had a lot of talk with the boys. I shouldn't call them boys. They're all very nice gentlemen, grown, mature people. And even, you know, this all started with Big Boy on accident. He had me on his show in 2020, and then 23 I did another interview with him, and then that's where AO kind of connected the dots. And he's like, you know, we want to do something for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and
I just want to say, behind the scenes, they were like, you need to have her on. She's absolutely amazing. Aww. And she's got a great story to tell.
Oh, my goodness.
So behind the scenes, that's how people are talking about you behind your back.
That's so sweet.
Just so you know.
That is very nice. Yeah, no, shout out to AO because he planned this out. I don't leave the house, but he has me moving like state to state and catching flight after flight.
Are you enjoying it?
I am. It is fun. It is tiring, especially when I'm like traveling with all these. I'm obviously overpacked because I have a problem. Yeah.
Obviously.
And so, like, you know, carrying around suitcases is a little bit of a challenge, but it's been fun. And the feedback has been worth every single moment where I'm like, ooh, am I saying too much? Like, should I not say this? But
well, that's what we love about you.
Yeah, I will talk about anything. There's nothing I won't address.
All right, next time we'll have you on the podcast. Okay, lip service.
You let me know, and I'll make another trip. Yeah, I might have to take my top off and, like, you know, put your logo over my nipple just so they could see what scars look like and all that. But
anything
have to
you
charge
need
for that interview.
Oh yeah, we got to put that one on OnlyFans.
Yeah, something. We'll put it through your site Patreon. Or something. Yeah, there you go.
But I appreciate you, and so we will definitely stay in contact. Nicole, Mikhael, how can people find you if they want to reach out, book you, perhaps?
I guess just on social media. I'm Nicole Mikhael on all platforms, so I guess slide in the DM.
Not that way.
What do they want, like my email address?
No, that's fine.
Oh,
social media, that's fine. What about if they do want to ask you out? That too?
No.
Okay.
I'm not looking. I'm not trying.
That's when you find somebody. Okay.
No, no, I'm good right now. Yeah. It might change in a couple months, but for right now, I'm good.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.